Hello everybody, the Nameless Narcissist here once again, a simple man diagnosed with NPD, giving you the facts on narcissistic personality disorder and the things that go on in my head. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, but keep in mind, I am no clinician, I can only speak to my own experiences. So this is a concept that I kind of came up with recently, or at least I came up with the name for it. Because this is a behavior that I have described in the past that I am very guilty of having done, and to my knowledge, a lot of narcissists are guilty of doing. Of this, I guess it's kind of like a threat, right? And that's why I'm going to call it the fake discard or maybe the false discard or whatever. Because the thing is, if we feel like, usually for me, it's caused when I feel like I'm about to be abandoned. Because I'm basically like, oh my God, they're going to leave me. They think they're better than me. I hate them. This is terrible. And so I will basically get into this mindset of, well, if this is going to happen, then I'm going to leave them first to show that I still won. I'm still on top. I'm the one that's better. But what I really want isn't so much for you to just take it and just like leave me alone for the rest of my life. It's I want you to basically beg. I want you to be like, no, everything's my fault. I'm so sorry. I still love you. I want you to prove to me that you love me because I'm incapable of just asking for reassurance because, my mind's messed up. And so I'm going to go through these convoluted lengths in order to just secure any sort of sign that you care. And it's funny because I didn't realize, because I was doing an interview and the lady asks me, she's like, oh, so you're doing that, try to get them, what you want is for them to love you, but you're not realizing that that they actually think that you hate them. And it almost blew my mind because I was like, wait, is it not obvious what I want in those situations? Is it not obvious that I want them to beg for me? It was so natural to me that it didn't even occur that, because I knew it was a toxic behavior and I haven't done it in a long time. It's been a year at least since I've done that. But it was so, I thought it felt so natural and innate. I just kind of assumed that everyone kind of at some level knew. And which reinforced that fear of abandonment, right? It's like, oh, people still will abandon me. People will abandon me because, and this is proof of it, because I did this fucking, I threw this temper tantrum and they were supposed to come back and they didn't. This proves I'm unlovable and that means the next person is going to leave me, perpetuating this cycle. And it's real, and that's the issue of personality disorders, isn't it? They all feed into each other like that. Every defense mechanism just makes another thing worse. And so obviously there's some questions that go into this, and I want to clarify a few things that might get confused for it. So let's talk about the silent treatment real quick, because this is also kind of complicated, because I think that there's two types of silent treatment. There is the purposeful one, which is the one that I think gets mistaken for a discard sometimes, or being ghosted or whatever. Because basically we know that abandonment, and the silent treatment is honestly a kind of a form of the fake discard or whatever, but we know that abandonment is the thing that hurts us the most, right? So by us ghosting like that, not only are we kind of getting your revenge, but also we're basically giving you a test. This is a test to see if will you chase after us, because that's what deeply we want, right? If I feel like somebody's pulling away from me or pushing me back, I'm not going to chase them. I'm going to pull back in hopes that then, the rubber band effect, they come back to me, which honestly usually works, and hence why that kind of behavior gets reinforced. Because so I feel abandoned, and so therefore I try to basically project that feeling onto them by making this distance, and then but they are more healthy people, and so they're like, hey, actually, what's going on? I care about you. I don't want this to happen. I don't have to be vulnerable, and I get what I want. And that's the funny thing about all of these little strategies that narcissists do, is that if we were just capable of being vulnerable at a true level, just innately, we wouldn't do any of these stupid things that hurt people and hurt ourselves often. Then there's another type of, but then I would say there's a third type of silent treatment, which is a true discard. And this one, this is the one where you're probably blocked on everything. They don't want to see anything to do with you, because why they're blocking you like that is because I don't know why, I can't bring myself to break up with people. It fills me with shame. And so I don't even want to look at you. I don't want to be reminded of you. I don't want to think about it. I don't want any single, I don't want you texting me and reminding me that I'm doing this kind of crappy thing and stuff like that. So I will probably block you everywhere. Now, in fairness, during a fake discard, I might block you, but I'll send a long message first. That's super mean. But but if I'm ghosting you, you won't hear like anything. Like I won't have any angry blowouts or anything like that. And I think that's a big thing between the fake leaving you and the true leaving you. True leaving you, you're going to like, the true leaving you, you're not going to hear a thing from us. There isn't going to be this big blowout. It's going to be like very calm, sometimes calculated. There's going to be a lot of shame on our end. And then on the fake ones, it's going to be anger, anger, anger in your face. Tell me that you love me because I'm throwing this tantrum, and I'm throwing a tantrum like a child and going to my room. I expect you to chase after me, but we're adults, so you don't. And yeah, or like another way that you can, or like often another true discard or whatever will be if I'm like if I'm trying to push you to break up with me, right? Like I recently went through a breakup, which I'm not proud of having done this, because at this point I was like in my head thinking, oh my God, they're not my soulmate. We're going to break up. Like my soulmate's still out there. They're not perfect for me. Yada yada yada. And so like what I did is when like basically I did something kind of crappy on purpose the night before. And the next day she calls me and she's like, hey, that thing that you did last night, I'm not going to say what it was because it's too shameful for me to even say right now. I'm not going to lie. It was like, let me put it this way, like any of you, if I said it, everybody would be pissed at me, and fair enough. But she's like, hey, that thing that you did was like really not cool, yada yada. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry about that, blah, blah. And like she tried to express herself. And I knew that then she would express why she felt like that more because that's what normal people do. And then I said, well, wait, are you breaking up with me? And she's like, no, I'm not breaking up with you. Then she continued, and I was like, you're breaking up with me. And eventually pushed her to that point that she actually did break up with me. Regretted it afterwards eventually, but that was what happened. And that's also a big way that you can know it's like, okay, like a narcissist is actually done with you and not trying to get like you back in that way. Now, and like when I was talking to somebody about this, they asked me like, so what you should do in those situations is like, you should actually like try to tell that person that you still care about them and stuff like that. And that's not what I'm saying. Because honestly, the thing is, it's not your guys' responsibility to play into a narcissist's games to keep them around, stuff like that. So I say take them at face value. Force them to become vulnerable. Basically, what I would do if I was in those shoes to force them to be vulnerable is, because here's the thing, if you keep messaging them back after that angry rant, you're going to keep getting responses, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. But then if you don't reply to the angry rant, they probably will not say anything to you ever again. So what I would do is, if I got a text like that, oh, you're an awful person, you never cared about me, I hate you, blah, blah, blah. What I would do is I would say, well, I'm really sorry you feel like that. That's not true. I do care about you, but I'm going to respect your boundaries and I won't talk to you anymore. That's what I would do. Call their bluff. Narcissists, you need strong boundaries, narcissists, and they will end up respecting you more if you're able to hold your ground like that. If you don't like crumble and stuff, and if they can't get to that point where they're willing to be vulnerable or backtrack, if they're too proud, then like you probably shouldn't be in a relationship with them anyway because they're not at a point in healing that you can have a healthy relationship. At least that's my 2 cents. I mean, like somebody in my comments once said when I was talking about this, you are their partner, not their therapist, which I think is a great way to sum it up. If she wants credit for that, she can comment and I'll pin it or something. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents though. And like technically you can, if you really feel like, oh, well, like I want to, I'm desperate to keep this person around. If that's the point that you're at, I'm not a person that's going to sit here and say, you have to do this, right? Technically, it would probably work if you if they sent that angry text and you immediately took responsibility for everything. Keep in mind, they might not immediately let up with that though. They may take that as a green flag to keep going with some of that insults and grievances, but it will work eventually if you just keep kind of bending the knee. But then again, I'm too proud to do something like that, so who knows. But anyways, yeah, that's basically it for this video. I hope this was interesting. Take your fucking meds, please.